We're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Sohail, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we're focused on Star Trek Prodigy, Season 2's episode, Touch of Grey. How you doing, Toddy?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm glad you're already on the good audio. We didn't have to do the test.
So
It's good. Oh, why does my phone always ring when I'm on the streams? Hold on, I'm gonna go mute that. I'll be right back.
Outrageous. Here we go. That looks better. Oh my goodness. HD people. How's everybody doing?
HD. Do I look HD too? I don't think I look HD.
Hot definition.
We got a bunch of chatters already. Chat people.
What is
they
this?
Call us the screen
it's a
people.
starred comment. You can star important comments, so remember to discuss them during the show.
Oh yeah, I did start this comment because chatters, please remember, no spoilers for the last 2 episodes. Toddy has not seen them. We're very close though. That's it, like one more viewing and you're gonna know what happens. This is so exciting.
Save the day.
This was such a good episode. I can't wait to talk about it with you. But before we do that, let's get into a little bit of housekeeping. Go ahead, Clean. You're the housekeeper.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time. By the way, do you like this? I'm doing No Shave November.
Isn't it? No, not November. Isn't that it? No.
There is that too, Toddy, but it was No Shave November.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay.
That and
it's good. I like it.
Good grief. What are you? You're millennial?
I think so, yeah.
You guys invented that. My generation did no shave.
1992.
Yeah. So Hale can grow a full and lush beard.
Look, he's just saying sweep, potty, sweep.
By the way, this is the first time my beard's ever looked this nice. It's usually
it's
not
very
nice.
good, actually. It's lush and groomed, you know what I mean? And it's got
that's not even groomed. I haven't groomed it.
It's naturally groomed, but it has just the right amount of like gray to black ratio. I think it's great. Fantastic.
It's true that I might have been inspired by Boimler. You're caught up, right?
I'm not. I haven't seen the last.
You haven't seen? Oh, Starbase 80 is so good. There's nothing.
I would assume so because it's called Starbase 80. So you expect grand things, you know. I haven't seen it
yet. You remember Starbase 80, right? It's the
How could I not remember Starbase 80? It's a terrible, dreadful place. No one wants to go there.
Ooh!
Starbase 80.
Ooh, I got a comparison to Riker. I like that. Thank you very much. So the housekeeping. So sorry, folks, that we've been so erratic with our streams between my schedule and Toddy's schedule. Sometimes things don't line up and my schedule's been kind of crazy. Also, Joel and Marcelo and I are discussing Lower Decks. We kicked it off, but we haven't done any more episodes, but I promise we will. Although in the meantime, there's a ton of channels that are up to date that you should be tuning into, especially Text Trek and The Salon. And of course, you can watch reviews by Jesse Gender and the big sites as well, like our friends over at Trek Culture, Sean and Ellie. So yeah, there's no, if you're waiting, that's fine. But I think we have an advantage, Toddy, to not being on time. Oh. Well, I'll tell you. What Toddy's having some kind of something's going on, but I'll tell you, Toddy, that I think the advantage we're having is that we get to really absorb these episodes, think about them, and have casual and informal discussions that might go in a different direction than the initial reaction discussions tend to go. So yeah, I hope everything's okay with Sean. Oh, he's back. What do you think? You think it's good that we're not the first kids on the block?
You mean like the first, like the I think it's better, actually.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
So I appreciate both, like, I guess, ends of the stick here. Like I do like the kind of initial reaction, first response people. You know what I mean? The ones that come straight out the gate and they're like, yo, this is what happened and what have you. but I think that it's nice to also have people that come at it late, like us. And I'm not just saying it because we're always late. I'm saying it because I like the idea of having conversations that can last longer than like the initial day or week of the release. You can come back and re-explore it, and it's always nice. That's how I did when I used to do reviews on the channel. That's how I used to do them too. I used to basically take a look at what everyone else was thinking, because even if I have my own thoughts, it's kind of nice to be able to like reflect and understand how other people have interpreted like the episodes. So
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, shall we begin? Do you want to do the episode summary? Shall we do it together?
we can do it together.
All right.
We usually just cut each other off anyway.
Yeah, it's true. We always inbutt into each other's summaries. Was there anything else housekeeping wise that I was supposed to talk about? I don't think so. All right.
If everything goes to plan, next week we should be doing the finale, right? Like it's the double episode. We're talking about both of them, right? Or is it not next week?
No, I think we're good for next week.
Okay.
And maybe we'll learn our Haka by then. we can do our Haka live. Wait, no, we'll save that for our Lord of the Rings discussions. That'll be a good time to do it. All right. So the episode interestingly starts off just a little bit before the previous episode ended, because if you recall, the previous episode ended with Wesley and Iltheron being beamed aboard the bridge and everyone reacting. Well, this starts a little bit before with this like cute moment where Janeway's like kind of doubting herself, and Chakotay comes in and they have like this this like nice little exchange, where he reminds her that this is not her first rodeo, and then that she just has to give it time and have patience. And then I like the line where she's like, "Have you forgotten I'm not a fan of either?" But I thought this was like a really sweet kind of moment. And then of course you get the captors being beamed aboard, and we find out through their intel that the Prodigy crew have been taken hostage by Essentia, and that she's running amok on the planet, that she's got access to like crazy technology, and she's trying to convince everyone that the aliens are bad and that the Federation are bad. I can't believe how relevant the writers of these shows just have a great lens into what's going on or what might happen in reality, and or Star Trek's just written in such a way that like you're like, oh, this like matches up with what's happening in the real world or what could happen in the real world. But anyways, I won't go too far.
I think there's a certain magic in like the way that Star Trek is kind of set up, that you can be specific enough, but also kind of like, I guess, loose enough in your details that you can very often equate it to things that are happening.
That's so funny. They're taking bets on
sometimes they're a bit literal. Like in Star Trek Enterprise, they quite literally had the White House with Nazi flags. So maybe that was a bit of a literal.
I saw your post on Blue Sky. Oh my goodness. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. But yeah, that was Enterprise. Yeah, Star Trek has done a pretty good job of predicting, or warning, I should say, creating stories that warn of what could happen if you slip too far away from democracy, if you will, for simplicity's sake. But just respect and understanding and respect for life and all that stuff goes out the window, and you start getting fascism and things like that. So anyways, let's not doom and gloom it too much, but Essentia is this embodiment of all these things. Like, she is in fact the worst.
The doom and gloom moment is basically because they appear on the bridge here, and Wesley Crusher basically drops he redrops the bombshell. Did he already drop it in last episode? But he
did, but
where he's like,
redrops
I don't know what's going. Like, I don't know the future now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, which I feel like we're all in the same place. We have no idea what's going to happen next. But and you certainly don't know what the future holds in this show. But anyways, so Janeway devises she's determined to go and rescue the kids, and Chakotay, of course, the Doctor, Wesley, and Ilthron all want to go, but she implores Ilthron to stay behind because Solom needs him to be, safe so that he can help create the resistance. In other words, so yeah, that all that goes into effect. They have a stolen. I can't remember what the ship was called, but it's a cool looking ship. It reminds me of the Ornithopters in the New
It's
Dune
really
movies a
nasty.
little
Like
bit.
it
Yeah,
looks really cool. Yeah.
yeah.
They 3D print it basically.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's right. That's right. I thought it was stolen, but you're right. They 3D printed it. I forgot about that. I didn't watch it today like you did, so I'm glad I watched it last week. So, but anyways,
No, but I think it was in like the data banks for someone, so they like holographically recreating it from like, is it a ship from like Essensia's? Like, is it?
it's like one of the new ships that
Yeah.
it's like a defense ship, or like they called it a Reaper or something. I forget what it was. Maybe someone in the audience remembers.
Mm.
But anyways, so they they go down, and in a little, I think, homage to Empire Strikes Back. No, sorry, Return of the Jedi, with the shuttle Tydirian sequence. Uh, the Doctor fakes like a voice of like a Solom soldier, and
Mm.
and that's when he does the. They're like, "Oh, the execution is going to take place here," and he's like, "Oh, it's going to be a humdinger. I'll save you a seat." And Janeway's like, "Okay, Doctor." But good job anyways.
There's a very small kind of interesting moment that I enjoy where Janeway, basically they're talking about like Wesley's mother, right, Beverly, and he's like, how is she? And she's like, well, go and ask her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's like,
I
you
appreciate
should,
that.
yeah, you should ask her. Yeah, I appreciated that too. Wesley's an interesting character. Like, we also get another moment later on where we'll talk about it more, I guess, when we talk about the characters a little more, but I like that moment where that he has with Chakotay later on, when they're trying to get into the enclosement, the ancient ruins of the cities. But anyways, Essentia takes the kids to get executed into this old part of Solom where there's ruins, and she has managed to capture one of the loom creatures, and sets it loose on them and that's how she's going to execute them. But the loom creature is not doing too well. It's a little sick. Meanwhile, the landing party arrives and they have to walk 2 clicks. By the way, does anyone know what 2 clicks equals to in kilometers or
That's
miles? Maybe
military
it's 2
speak.
kilometers. Yeah, maybe it's 2 kilometers. It might be 2 clicks, might be 2 kilometers. We'll have to look it up. Oh, good. Toddy's looking it up. But anyways, they have to walk 2 clicks, and the Doctor, of course, is not tired at all because he doesn't get tired, but everyone else is exhausted and a little out of shape.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
1 kilometer.
Oh, okay, so 2 clicks is 2 kilometers. It's a good way of shortening kilometers. You could say 2 Ks also, I guess.
Mm.
Cake, thank you for also coming in with that answer. We appreciate it. Joel says they had to rely on good Aaron to make the time travel work. So he said. Yeah, I think he's he's very timey-wimey capable.
He was the time travel expert. Everyone has their
Yeah,
own expertise.
which means he might be a real time traveler. And if
I
that's the
wouldn't be
case,
surprised.
yeah, if that's the case, and if you're listening to this later, Aaron, could you please find us the World Almanac?
That's how the
Bring it
show is
back.
so good. They basically screen tested the show like in alternate futures, and they figured
Sorry,
out
the
which was the
Sports
best one.
Almanac. Yeah, they screen tested. This this has already happened, and Aaron went back, took our feedback. Oh, look,
Yeah, there he
we
is.
didn't even say it 3 times.
Hey, this like look, but he knew in advance. See, because he's time traveling, he knew that we would talk about him here.
I think we cut a line where Admiral Janeway says, "I never should have given up those velocity workouts," as she is huffing up the mountain. Oh, that's great. But going back to the summary, we're trying to keep it short, I promise. Uh, so they're, Wesley talks about his I think, what did he say? What
His
muscle group is
quads.
that? His quads
He hadn't been working
not
out his
getting worked
quads
out
too often.
because he's opening portals all the time. But anyways, they get to the prison basically, and they're trying to figure out a way in, and so that's when Janeway's like, all right, well, she wanted an admiral, so she's gonna get one. So we think that she's actually gone to see Essentia while while the kids are figuring out like the
It's all
situation
a
with the
ruse.
loom. And Essentia is like so awful, so bad. She's like, well, Janeway's trying to like give her a solution, like, like give her some options. And she's like, actually, I didn't call you here to talk about any of that. I just came here because I knew that I could kill you and cut off the head of the fire. What you call it? Fire snake or something like that? The Voyager fire snake, which I kind of like that. And I was shocked the first time. I thought she really took a hit. I thought that was Janeway. Did you know, or were you like, well, did you
Okay.
suspect? You might have suspected.
No.
I did not.
No. So when she took the hit, the first phaser blast, and this is weird. It's because I assumed it was the real Captain Janeway, because she was kind of just wounded and fell to the ground. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, okay, so they're trying to show us that she's in danger, but because like in this in a real situation, Essentia probably just would have blasted her and she would have vaporized. But I was like, oh, they didn't do that for the show because they want to really have us be distressed. But then when we come back,
distressed.
when we come back though, it's like, okay, this is clearly not Janeway.
Yeah, they didn't keep me distressed for too long because yeah, she does show up. Like Zero starts saying, "I sense Janeway," which was also kind of scary because.
But it's because the hollow emitter is hidden, I think.
Yeah, he had it initially. He had it hidden, and then it showed up for like during the very dramatic death scene. So then, anyways, Janeway comes back to Chakotay and Wesley, and they decide, okay, time to what is it? Spring the chicken from the coop, and so they use the badge to explode the section of the wall just as Gwen is about to get maybe attacked by the loom. I think the loom was very like confused and stuff like that, but that creates a disruption, and the brace that the neck shackle that's holding the loom prisoner comes undone, and the loom goes back to its glorious well self and starts doing its thing and erasing Essentia's troops, and is going to go after Essentia, and everyone escapes and they get back to the ship. And that's when Gwen's like, look, thank you so much, but I gotta see this through, and I have to go and see what we can do to finish this fight. And Janeway's like, I totally agree. And Chakotay's like, whatever you need, we'll make it happen. And they're kind of shocked. And that's when we get that, which I never noticed before, but there's a beautiful soliloquy at the end. You posted about it on Twitter, and so it made me like, oh wait, that sounds like a soliloquy. I've been reminded I've been reminded that boldness isn't only for the young, and when Starfleet is united, we can always overcome. Very nice writing, Jennifer Muro and the whole team. So yeah, very cool. All right, I did it. Episode summary in 20 minutes. Not too bad. Or in 15 minutes, maybe. Why are you laughing?
Yes, people are like, is he gonna do it under 10? Like, no, he's gonna do it in 11. So I was like, he's gonna make it. He's gonna make it. And he got sidetracked with the soliloquy. I was like, no, he's gone on a tangent.
Oh, the last line from the Doctor is dying is from Hamlet. Oh, we were just talking about soliloquies. That's very cool. Aaron, since you're here, that is structurally a soliloquy at the end, right? I'm not wrong. It's been I'm brushing off my English chops from like 30 years ago almost. So I don't know if I'm right, but maybe I'm right. Movie Magic says, I'm going to be really annoyed if we don't get a third season. Yeah, me too. Season 2 was so addictive. I couldn't stop binging it. Sorry, Cake. He's only 2/3 through the episode. It'll go over 11 minutes. Oh my gosh. You know how they were doing bets for the election? Maybe you could do you could actually do real bets with whatever that program is, for my
For
episode
your episode
summary length.
summaries,
The lengths, yeah.
it's too random though. You know what I mean? It's not this or that. It's really like if someone gets the correct time, like they're gonna cash out. You know, they're gonna win so much.
That's true. It depends on how much you put on the bet. Toddy, I'm drinking a special kind of tea called tadak chai. It's like,
Okay.
you know what it is? Have you ever heard
No,
of tadak chai? Oh, you got to look it up. It's really yummy.
I'm not. I'm not grand on tea,
So, what do you think? What's going on
but
in your head? Where are you?
I appreciate tea in a Picard mug. I like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? With the family
and it's
crest.
on the other side. It says
Oh no,
Picard.
I've been assigned the summary next week for the finale. I can do this. I can do the finale summary. I can put in the
Write
effort.
it. You should write it.
I should
Best
write
actor
it.
writer. Yeah, do like a
I
whole
haven't
credits.
written. I haven't written one of those review like. It's been a while.
We'll give you the space, Avitotes, to do it. You think about it. You should write it. It'll be fun. We'll get a track on the tube moment on Starfleet So Hail. So yeah, what'd you think?
I loved it. I think it was great. I really liked seeing like the heroes go out on like the I guess older heroes go out on the away mission. I think that the whole subterfuge of like having like the what's his name, the Doctor be Janeway was good. It was nice trickery. Um, I like the kids and they're trying to get out of the situation. I'm not the biggest fan of the loom. I think we've mentioned this before. Though I understand like the concept of using the loom as a weapon, and that's very, very terrifying. Asensi is really good. She mustache twirls more and more every episode. And by now you're like, I just kill her. Get rid of her. Make her disappear from the timelines.
We don't do that in Starfleet, Toddy.
Oh, come on. No, but yeah, and I also appreciate like Wesley.
You're saying Janeway should Tuvix her?
It's not the same
That's
thing
like a
because Tuvix didn't exist originally.
no, but it's like a euphemism for
For setting things straight. Yeah, I picked up on something that so visually this was absolutely stunning, and that final shot with like the Voyager and then the Protostar and then space and the shuttle going back to it. God damn, it was so good. But yeah, no, I picked up on them talking about Wesley like not having his powers and not being able to use his powers to like his full capacity. And it just got me wondering. I was like, are they gonna untraveler him by the end of this season? And maybe not, but I do think it would be a very interesting direction to go. Like, Wesley had his time as the traveler, but like this whole thing and this whole ordeal took it away from him, and it adds so much more weight to like the sacrifice of him getting himself captured on purpose by Essentia
and giving it up to save his timeline, to save his universe, basically.
his mom
and his mom, and well, a little brother that he might not know about. So yeah,
who cares about him?
I see what camp you're in with Jack Crusher.
No, but no, someone said in the comments earlier, like this show did a lot to kind of like redeem, or I guess like bring back Chakotay and Wesley, and I know that some people feel like they needed to be redeemed. I'm not necessarily in that camp, but I do think that they are two characters that did deserve to be further explored, and I think that this season and this show has really done a lot. Like season 2 especially, like I think it's done a lot. And I have a great appreciation for Chakotay.
I think
have a great
not redeemed,
appreciation for
but
like.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think it's just like honoring them a little more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a great appreciation for Wesley, and I really like what they did. Like exploring the concept of him being a traveler is really cool. Even if this is like not such a grand story, but more like a personal one. And then Chakotay, yeah, they didn't explore too much of like the, I guess, Native American heritage part of Chakotay, and maybe that's for the best. because there's a lot of course correcting that would have needed to be done, and maybe this wasn't necessarily the time nor the place to do that in this show. Like, it's not a show about Chakotay. But no, I appreciate it. I really appreciated what they did, and so yeah, and seeing all the gang, together. And I like
Right
the little
on.
fangirl moment that
Rock Talk.
no
Oh,
Hollow Janeway has
oh
with
yeah,
the
that too. She
doctor.
was. I'm a big fan.
Ah,
he's he's hilarious. The Doctor's great. I can't wait to see what the character is going to be like on Starfleet Academy. It's very cool.
what is this? What is this dreadful comment I'm reading? I
Where
have
are you
no
reading?
context. I need context for this. Is Toddy
Is
taking on
Toddy
Marcel's job of murdering children? What?
what?
I don't
No.
know. I have no
Oh,
context.
I think we were talking about adult evil essentia when we were talking about that, right? But yeah, Marcel is murderous.
Oh, okay.
He wants all the his idea of justice for oh Jack no
Oh
he's just not a
no, I don't
fan
want
of
to get
Jack.
rid of
Oh
him. I
okay,
just don't necessarily need to see
he's
him
just not a
again.
fan of
You
Jack.
know what I mean? Knowing he exists is fine. You know what I mean? But I don't need to be exploring his life again. You know what I mean? Like, especially if they really did like that show with Seven and everything, Jack would just be in the way. It would take away from like the whole point of giving the show to like Seven of Nine, and then you just got like some wannabe Picard running around the bridge. Like, just send him to study some rock somewhere. Yeah.
I think Wesley should just come back. It would be cool. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Wesley then, because yeah, I
Hmm.
do think he's. By the way, if you guys aren't watching Star Trek Prodigy and for some reason you're watching this discussion, you're missing out on like epic crossovers like that we've always wanted in Star Trek, like different crews meeting from different shows, like things like that, like follow-ups to stories, like it's all here. It's all here in Star Trek Prodigy. Get over your it's a kid's show, not for me attitudes and go watch Star Trek Prodigy, which is out on Blu-ray, by the way. I promise I don't get paid for these things. But
He's chilling.
Tanya, have
He's
you
chilling.
I'm shilling, it's true. I'm just really enthusiastic about it. I'm gonna watch the finale, the two-parter tonight on Blu-ray
Ooh.
to see it in its full glory. Last night today earlier we watched a little bit of. We also got a friend of mine sent me an early Christmas gift, I guess because they were just too excited. And they sent me this and Star Trek Discovery, the full season, which by the way, I already have season 1 through 4, like steelbooks, I think, if I'm not mistaken, some of them. And so I guess I'll just do a giveaway. That's what Toddy always does,
Yay.
right?
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah. So
Um
stay tuned for that.
I have no I guess facts to corroborate this. Like, I'm just gonna have to go on what Starfleet Sahel says. But your boy Starfleet Sahel genuinely believes that the HD is more HD when you're watching on the Blu-rays.
No, there's a compression or something that happens in streaming. It's like
He's like, it just looks better, yo. The physical media, it looks better. So if you
it
can,
doesn't look like the most perfect because it's a TV show. They have a budget. Not everything's gonna, but like it holds up to a higher, crisper thing. Yeah, Joel here is pointing out no artifacting. Jill, you don't have to do a contest. I'll just send it to you for Christmas. So Jill already has season 1. Season 1. So I'm giving
it's
away
the easiest giveaway that's ever existed. It's just like claim your prize.
So Jill already wins. You get a season. Jill's our first winner.
You get a DVD. You get a Blu-ray. You get a Blu-ray. Congratulations, Jill. You won. Good job.
The higher the Christopher. That's so funny. Yeah, everything you said about Wesley I think is really spot on. I think it's really sad, his kind of life, in a way. Like, I noticed when he was talking to Chakotay and Chakotay thanked him for saving him, like normally you'd be like, yeah, no worries, like, it's all good, like, but Wesley's answer was sometimes I don't even know why I do the things I do. It's
Mm.
he's like in this kind of, I don't know, like a state of stress all the time or worry, or it's just, it's got to be, but it's a lot if you think about it, like to be aware of time on that
Oh my
level.
god, it must be dreadful,
Yeah.
truly. And then,
Well,
so
yeah.
I have no, I guess I have no personal experience with this, and nor do I know anyone in real life that is like a prodigy or a genius. But from what I've seen, like in the depictions that they have in films and what have you, often it can be a pretty solitary life. And so I think that it's kind of reflecting that. You know what I mean? You're muted. You're muted. You're back.
Am I back?
You're back.
You can
What are you
hear
doing?
me.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. That
I
was
can hear
weird.
you when you're unmuted. Yeah, that's.
No, but I had unmuted and I guess it was just slow.
Oh, okay.
It was a slow unmuting.
Get it together, StreamYard.
StreamYard's actually great. I love it.
It's the subspace transmission. Sometimes they get a little wonky.
That, and he's separated from, well, everything you were saying, and then he's separated from his family and friends.
Mm.
He only pops in for weddings, but then no one knows he was there. Or he gets cut, or he gets deleted out of the wedding.
When they take the group picture, he's not in frame. You know what I mean? It sucks.
It is interesting that we are getting, so this takes place 14 years after. We also find out that this takes place 14 years after Voyager returns home. So we already knew where Prodigy took place, but it's just another kind of reminder, space-time coordinates. But yeah, he later appears to Soji as we, not Soji, sorry, Soong's daughter, who was also created but is a clone. I can't remember. Corey, I think it's Corey or something like that. I think that was her name, but she looked just like Soji, so that's why. But yeah, he recruits Corey. I hope we see the Travelers again. We may still get a show set in the in the post Picard era at some point, and so I hope we do get more of Wesley and stuff like that. And in season 3 of Prodigy, which I'm still hoping for news on. No news is also good news. We haven't heard that it's not going to get picked up, so hopefully it does get picked up. I feel the frustration that our friend Earl Grey Trekkie, Movie Magic, was talking about earlier in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Wesley's a very cool addition to this show, and he is, after all, the first Prodigy, so it makes sense that they would get Wesley as the big guest star for this. What else? Let's see.
So I just gotta ask something to be clear.
Okay.
Let me just share this.
Here,
Boom.
let's go. Boom.
So on the timeline here, I have Prodigy beginning in 2383. So we're saying that this is happening 14 years after the arrival of Voyager, which would be like 2392, which I guess equates to the 10 years that Chakotay spent on the planet. So that means, as it stands, I would need to update the timeline by putting 2392 here.
Prodigy starts in 83. Huh. But no, I feel like it. Well,
so or is that wrong?
I think
I think I got that off Memory Alpha.
Oh, here we have. Oh, it's 14 years after Voyager launched. That fixes it. Thank you, Aaron. I misunderstood. I confused Toddy. So yeah, I think that'll fix your timeline back to how it's supposed to be. It's only supposed to be like a year after, I think. The first season, or not even a year. So then how long were they
Okay, so
on their
that would place this at around like 2385.
Yeah, that makes more
So
sense.
that's about a couple of years. That makes more sense.
Yeah. So now you got to put.
Oh,
What do you?
okay, I agree though. Do we leave Prodigy open for now? Do like in the update that we do this January, do we close it or do we leave it open?
You leave it open.
In
It's bad luck. If you close it, it's
in a
bad luck.
hopeful wishful, you know?
She was lost for 7 years, just 7 seasons, 7 years. So it was a year season, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I think
you should have known all that, by the way. Thanks, Aaron.
You're the one that confused me. Don't blame me. I blame you. How dare you?
How dare you? I really liked I I really liked that it was very satisfying to see Essensia's plan starting to fail, because like at the end Iltheron comes on the broadcast channels and starts calling her out on her BS and imploring the people of Solom to rise up and stuff like that. What do you think? Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry, I'm so ADHD right now, but I wanted to say one thing that was super epic was the music in this episode, especially when Janeway gets shot. You have that really cool, like, percussive kind of theme that's going on and stuff like that. Anyways, but going back to all
Even
that,
is it TNG era music when they're creating that ship, when they're printing the ship?
Oh, I don't know. I have to go back and listen.
Maybe
now.
I'm mistaken, but I feel like there was some pretty classic like homages going on. Aaron says I get to add another Mirror Universe crossover, like an interaction to the timeline chart. So yes,
that's true. You do get to do that.
It's just to confuse the new fans. What are all these white lines everywhere?
There are a lot of lines on your timeline, but I like the way that it flows. It's very pretty. Oh, you took it away. I was gonna put it up again.
I think the travelers would approve.
This is
Agent Daniels wouldn't like it though.
You still haven't seen Disco, right?
Not yet. Oh God.
Oh, okay.
Agent Daniels is in Disco.
No, I'm just curious. Oh, damn it! I shouldn't have.
Did they really bring back? Oh my God!
I shouldn't have asked you. I shouldn't have asked you.
Did they bring? Okay. Did they bring back?
We're not talking about it.
The Mystery Man from Enterprise.
We're not talking about it.
Who's the Mystery Man?
Thank you for the compliment for the shirt. There is a purpose behind this costume. This would be. I meant to say it earlier. This would be my traveler's costume, my traveler's outfit. Like how Wesley has the sweater.
Oh.
This shirt would be how I would.
It's very Doctor Who.
It is very Doctor Who. Yeah. Dr. Soey. Ay. Toddy, control me. I'm only drinking tea.
Now they're blaming you because you spoiled something.
There's nothing spoiled.
How dare you spoil Discovery?
How dare you? As long as I don't spoil Prodigy, it's okay. You're not on our Discovery discussion.
No, yeah. I mean, I think people know that I'm not as intense about Discovery as I am Prodigy. Spoiling Prodigy would really suck. Spoiling Discovery, but I'm still excited to go and see like how the whole show ends. It is bittersweet, you know what I mean?
I know you said you're not a big fan of the loom, but to me the scenes where Zero's like empathically connecting with the loom and sensing its feelings, and the way that the loom was animated and everything like that, it really, I'm a huge advocate for animals. Sometimes I think like I would actually save an animal before I might save a human. But having a cat and like, having had pets, I feel like, really strongly about animals and protecting animals and things like that. And when you really think about it, the loom is not, it's doing its like what its instincts tell it to do, which is to correct, these faults in time or whatever. But I just really felt it. Like I felt that like it really, kind of tugged at my heartstrings that the loom was like imprisoned that way and being tortured and stuff like that. And so I liked that a lot. And I especially like that the loom's not like a pretty creature, although it is actually pretty in some ways, like with the glowing light, you know, the bioluminescence and stuff like that. I think all of that's very pretty. It does have a scary face, but I think it's like a gigantic dog, like, or a cat, maybe, you
Kinda.
know, it's like, I think it, especially since it didn't really hurt after it was freed, it didn't hurt any of the
So
Prodigy
David
crew.
Attenborough would absolutely love it.
Yeah, and actually in your series, which also needs to continue being developed about
We
about
could talk about the loom.
yeah, you could talk about the loom and like where they exist and go further into their natural habitats, if you will, you know, like maybe there's like a place in
There's
the
a
Star Trek
creature
universe.
that does
Maybe
not
there's a
live
place
where it lives when.
it lives. Oh, look at you! You already got. It's not where the loom lives, but when the loom. Yeah, that's great. So I really enjoyed that, even though it was like hard, you know, hard to kind of see the loom suffering. But I also forgot that Zero is not just an empath, but also a telepath because he's able to they're able to, I keep misgendering them, but they're able to connect with Janeway. And I love that like sound that you heard before before Janeway's like, hang on, Zero's talking to me. But I really loved the way that like that sound and like how it kind of like the camera angle changed, you know, like to
Mm.
just on top of her, and she was just kind of like doing one of these things or whatever. All just like brilliantly done.
So yeah, I couldn't tell if it was a reference to like some of the earlier like TOS episodes where Spock is connecting with like a creature or something, you know what I mean? Or even
Oh
like in the
yeah.
even in the animated series, like I'm rewatching the animated series at the moment, and like I think episode 3 is Spock. He does one of these, and he's connecting with a red cloud.
I remember
Um,
that episode. I love
and so this kind of
that.
reminded me of that, but it also, interestingly, it also reminds me of Book and how Book has that
Yeah,
very kind of like bioluminescent spiritual connection with these creatures on
Book
his
is very
planet.
connected to animals and you know, yeah, that's cool. And he can almost like kind of ask them to do things and stuff like
He's
that.
the
It's very
activist of the future.
and there are some humans that have like, you know, you call them like a dog whisperer or horse whisperer, but there are humans that can have like these profound connections with animals as well.
Mm.
So yeah, I like that too. And as we know, some humans, you know, are more gifted in empathy, or are more trained in empathy, I should say, than others. So may we all be more trained in empathy.
That's a very
uh,
polite way of saying it.
Jill says Spock was practicing for the
Yeah,
V'ger mind meld. Yeah.
yeah. It is a proto motion picture kind of like concept, that episode. And you can tell that they were kind of, Gene Roddenberry was exploring something there.
Yeah, it's true. Let's see. What was the title of the book the doctor was going to come up with for this adventure? What was it?
So I'm gonna let you in on a secret, okay?
Oh.
I love the Doctor. Every time he talks about his holo novels, I completely zone out. I'm like, I'm not interested. You know what I mean? It's like
That's
I
I feel
don't
like that's how the characters in the show
I
are.
don't care about his novel career. I'm like, I'm not interested. Maybe it's because it doesn't speak to me. I'm not a hologram. I can't relate to the stuff. You know what I mean? But I feel like he kind of annoyed me when I would say exaggerated, but kind of unfaithfully, like the truth, with his Voyager holo novels. So yeah, it got a bit. I don't know.
I
Since
think the
since then,
I,
I'm a little iffy on his holo novels, his career there.
I think that's intentional because I feel like the characters in the show are also reacting the same way. By the way, it
Mm.
was I wrote it down. It was Dirk Danger and the Dome of Loom and Doom.
Oh my god, it sounds so terrible. I'd never play that. I'd never read it or watch it or play it or
But
whatever
he's
it
like
is.
a really in universe. He's like a really popular holo novelist, right? Like he's
Yes, but I don't think. Okay, I'm gonna be very mean. I think he regards himself as quite an artist, but I think it's not the case. I think that his stuff is pretty lowbrow.
Is he
And
Chat GPT? Like, is he like writing? He's AI writing novels,
no,
right?
no,
Like,
he's had his own
like
experiences. That's unfair.
so
He's
maybe
lived his
Chat
own
GPT's
life. He's had his
having.
own experiences. That's not fair. Come on.
Doc GPT, is he? Is
He,
that what
he hasn't just he hasn't just studied what it's like to be stranded in the Delta Quadrant. He's lived it. So, no,
That's true.
that's unfair,
That's
I
true.
think. But
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 he
I do
does,
I
like
do think
ChatGPT, he
he
does
he
have access to like
believes
all the
he
knowledge, right?
believes he's genuinely like one of the greatest writers, but I think he's just kind of trashy, you know what I mean? Like he's like the equivalent of like a pop star, like a pop writer, you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
So you're saying, yeah, well, or like a pulp fiction. You think he's like a pulp novelist, like a one of those like paperback books, or
I
yeah,
think that
whatever
in
they find.
200 years, like his name would come up in a conversation more so as like, oh, he was like a thing for a while, but it wouldn't be regarded or remembered as like a great novelist. You know what I mean? Well, actually, bloody Starfleet Academy is gonna show us that, right? You
Oh,
think people still talk about his books and he's still writing books or holo
he's
novels
probably
in bloody
900 years
Starfleet Academy?
later.
Yeah, goddamn.
Mission Assignment Solum was the
Trashy
actual.
sells. Okay,
She does
it
sell.
does.
It does. So that was just the second part of the title that I wrote down. It's actually Mission Assignment Solum, which is that's a more straightforward.
That's more the original series kind of title for an episode.
The Doctor has probably written holo novels about their adventures in the Delta Quadrant. That's a show.
Mm.
That's the show to watch all
See,
the
I think he's
to
the kind of
watch
guy that
Voyager,
he
but
gets
interpreted by
offended.
the Doctor.
Oh my god. He gets offended when it's too trashy, but then he doesn't realize that he's doing kind of like cringe trash. You know what I mean on his end? So yeah.
I wonder what Rodrigo would think. Oh my gosh. Let's see who else. The Doctor. Um, we already talked about Chakotay. We already talked about Sensia.
So I like I forget what he's called, our Andorian friend there, the first officer.
Oh yeah, Tyses.
Yeah, yeah. I like how he has a bit of a moment where he's just like, just want to mention there are a bunch of cadets, and you're like a vice admiral, and you're a captain, and it's like, and she's like, it doesn't matter. We got to save the crew, and they've done a lot for us, and this and that. So I like that.
He did a good job. Your first officer's supposed to, like, even when it's not, when you know the answer, Janeway's going to say no. Your job is to point it out.
It is the duty, yeah, to point it out and
Yeah.
to mention it, and yeah, and I like the I guess the chemistry he has with the Tellarite. And I would really love to see a show or like an episode where it's just them two. You know what I mean? Like in a shuttle or something. Because I feel like they get along well. And I would like to see like the more Andorian of him and the more Tellarite of the other one kind of like clashing a bit. I think that would be nice. The Love Hexagon. The Love Hexagon. So in France, they colloquially they call France l'Hexagone. So they call France the hexagon because it's kind of shaped like a hexagon.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like a love hexagon could all happen in Paris, you know what I mean?
I'm sure there's a lot of, what would a hexagon, how would you translate hexagon into French?
Hexagon, c'est hexagone.
Oh, so it would
That's
be
all it is.
menage le hexagon? Or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe l'hexagone au foyer, which is like the hexagon at home. Maybe.
Okay. At home, the hexagon. These can be titles for the Doctor's novels. The Hexagon at Home. I love it. It's so good. Oh my
What would the
goodness.
French call the nobular marriages? Says Jill. I don't know.
You're the only French expert here, so you're the only Frenchish person, so you get to be the
They'd
expert.
just call it freedom, I think. La liberté. They'd be fine with it, wouldn't they?
La liberté. Is that what it is? That's a good answer. Very funny. Very funny. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Well, I
The
was
love
talking
hexagon.
about I was talking about the Tellarite and the Andorian and how I
Oh
like.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I was talking about. I don't know you, but
No, they're great, and both all the voice acting on the show is really great, but you can
oh
really
yeah.
feel the chemistry between everyone. But yeah, I agree that they have a lot of chemistry. I like the also
So
the Janeway.
shout out to shout out to all of the people that aren't voice actors. You know, like sometimes it's not easy to go and like, and I don't want to trash anyone, but you know, the What If series with Marvel, like they put in an effort to go and get the actors and then to play like voice act for the end, but it's not. Sometimes it doesn't work as well. You know what I mean? Because voice acting is a totally different thing.
Yeah, and shout out to the directors who direct the voice acting because it's
Mm,
probably a different kind of
oh yeah,
flex.
and
You have a different, and that was Shin who directed this episode, by the way.
so no, I think that everyone that like so you know whether it be you know all of the returning characters from like TNG or Voyager or whatever, I think they're doing a really good job.
Yeah, I agree. The more I watch Star Trek animation, like Lower Decks, Prodigy, I really wish that there was like more of it because honestly, you can tell stories you can't tell in live action.
I mean, that's the whole
There,
point of the animated series when it came out. It was nuts. They
yeah,
went wild with it.
and it's so true here, especially in Prodigy. I mean, like Lower Decks is meant to be more of a comedy and a different tone, but Prodigy's in line with the tone that we're used to, with Star Trek. Uh, I guess you'd call it the dramatic tone, if you will.
Mm.
There's certainly humor, sprinkled in and whatever, but it's a very serious kind of show. Um, and I think they just pull it off, and like they do spectacular things that you wouldn't be able to do. And it's amazing that the episodes are only like half an hour. I'm always amazed that like you
It's
can
so packed,
do
isn't
so
it?
much. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Very cool. So yeah. Um but what I was going to say is that I I feel like, again, not to compare, I try not to compare the shows. They're all different and they all have like a unique kind of way of, you know, interpreting Star Trek and like, taking Star Trek in different directions. But I really would have liked to have seen the kind of, mixing and interactions that we see with old crews and new crews that we see in Prodigy. I would have liked to have seen something similar in Star Trek Picard. And again, Picard's my favorite show, but it's not perfect, of course. And I think one of the things that would have been nice is to have more of the new crew that came along in season 1 and season 2 mixing with the TNG crew. And I thought like the scene that you're talking about where they're printing the ship and they're getting ready for the mission and everyone's kind of like talking to each other, that was like such a great scene with the old crew and the new Janeway's different crews, basically.
Mm.
And it also is so much more realistic. Like, I do think it's wonderful that the TOS crew stayed together for like 50 years on the same ship and like never went off to other assignments and no one wanted to become a captain of their own ship or anything like that. But that's not
I
realistic.
can understand the sentiment though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not realistic. Like the real way it would be is what we're seeing in, Prodigy and in Picard and other shows where people do move on and go on to other assignments and get promoted and get on, new ships and stuff like that. And you could stay friends and, and stuff like that. But,
I mean,
you know,
except Harry Kim, right?
he's
Like
a
he
captain. I'm
no,
certain he's a captain. No,
no.
I'm certain he's a captain. I'm 100%
They
certain.
call they call him Captain Ensign Kim.
I'm gonna put a little. I'm gonna do one of these things on. Okay, Harry Kim. Let's see here. Poll Harry Kim captain.
No.
Okay. Start poll. All right, audience. I just put a poll out there.
On what?
let let Toddy know.
On
Is
what?
Harry what's on YouTube?
On
On
X, on
YouTube.
YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah.
Oh, that's
We do
ridiculous.
have an audience on X too. Look, it's already no 100%. So it's like Captain Kim for the win. Come on. Oh, it went
No,
finally it skewed a little. 20% yes. So good. The poll's running.
no, it's a no. If you're joining us now, vote no.
Don't listen to Toddy. Wow, it's wild. It's like I can see it like it keeps going. Toot, 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 toot. Like, that's wild. All right, 6 votes. That's good. We have 11 people watching, so if you can see the chat, please vote. And also, please don't forget to smash the like button.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can't
Subscribe.
get more votes than likes. It can't work. Come on, come on, people.
But so far you win. It's a no so far.
Of
We'll
course,
go
it's
back to
no.
that at the end.
Yeah,
Toddy, was there anything else about the episode that we haven't discussed? Audience, is there anything else that we should have discussed in
yeah.
our
There were
discussion?
there were little moments that I appreciate, like little character moments I appreciated. Murph and Chakotay have a good relationship, I find, and so I like it when like Murph says something and Chakotay's like he understands or he guesses, what he said, and I think that's nice. Yeah, like you said, like Zero, I think they did a great job at like saving the day when it came to the loom. And even if I'm not a fan of the loom, I did like that whole idea.
Very nice.
Yeah, no, it's solid, honestly, and then just visually, it's so interesting.
You have no idea how it's going to end, right? Any speculation for the finale?
No, I have no speculation. Do we get another cliffhanger or something? Or no, it ends, right?
I don't know.
Okay. Don't want to tell me, bastard. No, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Jill, that's a great point. Like
I
Chakotay
do
has the
hope it's a
potential
happy
to
ending.
be Chakotay could potentially be a great kind of father figure for Dao.
Who will
That's
die?
why we need. That's why we what?
Jesus Christ. Jill's
What?
just like, who will die? Does that mean someone dies?
Yeah, Toddy, let's
No.
predict deaths. Who will die?
Okay, so
If
I'm gonna
someone
go.
had to
I'm gonna
die.
go with what I said. I'm gonna go with what I said, and I think that Wesley's lost his powers and he's become like a regular human again. I think that would be an interesting thing to do. In terms of people dying, um, I don't think they would. Who the hell would they kill? They wouldn't kill anyone. Maybe Hollow Janeway.
Again?
Um,
I would I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen, Toddy. But that's dark.
they can't be killing my boy Chicote. They just saved him. You know what I mean?
That would
That's
also be dark.
ridiculous. Or they could. Who could they kill? Oh, they might kill Gwen's dad, maybe. You know what I mean?
This is a good question. If Aaron's still in the chat, have you ever explained what the little blob above Murph is? Special purpose. Anyone? Wrong answers only. I think that's his like. I think that's his.
It's a subspace transceiver.
It's his. There you go. I'll go with that. I mean, what do they call Dal's tail? A dingle dangle? So this could be like a dingle dongle? No. Or a whatchamacallit.
I
It's
think
a
what is
it's
the floaty
a
blob?
Murph exclamation point. I like that.
A
That's the
Muff
winner for me.
exclamation point.
That's
That's pretty good.
nice one, Commodore. By the way, go check out the Salon's first reaction stream that happened last night. I couldn't stay up for the whole thing, so I'm gonna go watch the replay later on. Let's see what else is here. Ensign Kim swoops in and saves everyone, dying before his promotion. That's the death. There you go. There's the death. He's promoted in posthumously. That's great. It is like his narwhal too. Ooh, it's kind of like a little narwhal. He's like a little unicorn type creature. I like that. It's a horn. But I think I'm still just
You know
gonna
what? I like to think
mission
of
point.
Murph as like, you know how a balloon you have to kind of tie a knot to keep the air in or the water in or whatever you put in the balloon. You know what I mean? So there's the little thingamajig that comes out on top.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that's what Murph is. Like Murph, he's got that little knot keeping him tied up. You know what I mean? If you were to snip it off or something, he would deflate. There'd be no more
Well,
Murph.
maybe we'll get an answer.
I would like to see the next evolution of Murph, to be honest.
Yes.
Murph is somewhat similar to what they have in Solar Opposites, now that I think of it.
I don't watch Solar Opposites, but I should.
Yeah. There's something called the pupa in Solar Opposites. And the pupa is like, it's basically a terraforming creature. They're supposed to terraform with it, but but the pupa goes through like all of these different kind of like colors and what have you over the seasons. And I mean, the pupa's talking now. So things have clearly the pupa's growing up, but I don't know, it's kind of Murphish.
Interesting. The poll has been closed, so Harry Kim captain. No. 66% say no and 33% say yes.
Fair enough.
That's pretty funny. Well, Toddy,
1% doesn't care.
There's a 1%.
Well, I mean, 66 and 33.
That doesn't add up to. Oh yeah, that's weird.
So 1% doesn't care.
That's very weird. I've never. That's. But that's really weird.
We're losing percentages, people.
We're losing percentages. By the way, quick sidebar, just because it's relevant to you and I. Did you see that?
It's because there's only 6 voters. That's what's happening.
Did you see the
6
thing
isn't enough.
that blew up online today? It was a fake post that Chris Evans created an OnlyFans account.
What? No,
I actually clicked to go look.
Oh, it was a scam, wasn't it?
It wasn't real. It was a parody. It was like the account that posted it is like a parody.
Never gonna
account.
give you up.
It wasn't like that. It was like also it cost $30 to subscribe, which made it seem real. Because I feel like
you would have subscribed.
I would have just for a month.
Okay, just for a month.
Yeah, I can't.
Just to see what's going on, you know.
I can't be given $30
just to be in the know.
Joel's funny. Starfleet Sohail lost $500 today. It could have happened because Chris Evans. Yep. Wow, look at how Toddy froze. That was really sweet. You froze like with your eyes closed, like in a very like nice. Yeah.
I feel like you're the one that's been lagging, not me.
I think there's like definitely something going on with my internet. So sorry if that's been happening. Well, folks. Well, Toddy. United, we can always overcome. And I feel like that's a really good message to end on. This episode gets a 10 in my book. I've been giving like 9.9s. This one gets a 10.
7. I give it a 7 in my book. We don't have the same books.
I know. I think you should give it a 7.5.
Oh, really? You decide?
Why? Well, I'm just suggesting. I'm
okay, well, what's the argument?
Well, you just like spent like an hour like praising the heck out of it, and you've been giving 7s to every other episode. So I feel
fine. I'll give it a 7.5. Bloody hell!
Yay!
That was too easy. I gave you that one.
Oh no! I don't know if you're frozen or I'm frozen, but anyways,
no one's frozen.
Oh, you froze. You froze for me. I don't know
I'm not freezing.
Okay.
I know it's cold out, but come on.
Text Trek is in the audience just in time for the end
Hey,
of the stream, but in 1 hour, no, 2 hours, head on over to Text Trek
I
to
love how
check
Joel
out.
was like, we already promoted Text Trek. It's done already.
He's like, Joel's like, yeah, you didn't need to
You're
come.
too
No, you
late.
do need to come, Fathery. You're expected. Oh my gosh. Toddy, your ball. Your ball. We're the most unprofessional.
Am I back? I
Yeah,
was
you're back.
for a minute there.
We're so unprofessional. We really appreciate our audience sticking with us through all this lack of
Nonsense.
professionalism. Yeah, this nonsense.
Yeah, but this is what makes us, a thing to come back to.
It's true. It's true. All right.
Great
Toddy,
episode.
anything?
Congratulations, everyone.
Yep. Thank you, Aaron Walkie, for hopping in the chat and hanging out with us. Thank you to our audience for hopping in the chat and hanging out with us all over the different platforms that we're streaming on: Facebook, X, hopefully Blue Sky soon.
Never
And
saw the sun
shining
so bright. Blue skies. I'm on Blue Sky now.
I know. Did I tell you that it made me feel like Blue Sky was real for the first time when I
okay, because I'm on it now.
Because you're on it, and I was missing
Someone
you.
tell Elon, I've moved to Blue Sky.
We're
He's
all
gonna have
moving.
to shut shit down now.
We're all moving to Blue Sky. I'm digging it over there. Actually, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of Trekkies there. So
yeah, Blue Sky is very much the Twitter experience. I don't know how they haven't had any been hit with copyright infringement. Kind of I don't know what you're allowed to do in terms of social media and how they're allowed to be similar. But it's basically Twitter, or the Twitter experience. I find, you know what I mean.
It was kickstarted by the guy who kickstarted Twitter, so that's why it's so similar.
There's less ads, right? I'm not pummeled by ads all the time, and also
all that's going to come later.
I don't have tweets from Elon Musk that I don't want to see. So I mean that's a plus.
Every single one of his tweets shows up whether you want them or not. It's very
I'm very
attention Bajoran. Every time I see one, I'm like, attention Bajoran workers. It's
like pops up, you know what I mean? Attention Bajoran workers. Oh my god.
Joel, you have to DM us the secret of how to get rid of that. Well, I guess you could mute it. I already muted him and he still shows up, so it's weird. I don't know. Oh, maybe it's only in the
It's
US
funny because Elon Musk is simultaneously a bot and an ad. When he pops up on your feed, it's like, get lost. Come on.
All right, we've given too much attention to this guy.
So Blue Sky.
Blue skies shining on me. Nothing
That's
but
it.
blue skies. I will not call it skeeting. I'll just call it posting. I don't know.
Skeeting is something else. No, you're the one that's froze. But
anyways,
skeeting is something else. You know what I mean?
Toddy, what do you got to promote other than your Blue Sky account?
I don't know. That's pretty big.
All right.
That's pretty big for me. I've actually gone to someplace else, which is wild. Yeah. No, I'm promoting kindness. Be kind to you know what? Compliment someone. During the week before we have our next discussion, everyone go out and give someone a random compliment, but not someone that you usually compliment, like someone else, someone that you don't know, or like someone, you know what I mean? It'll make their day.
I like that. I will do it. Thank you.
Go.
All right. We'll end on that note. Live long and prosper, everyone, and we will see you next time.